The resurrection of Jesus is the theological and historical center of Christianity, and it's the reason why I'm a Christian, and I'll explain that in later videos. In this video and a few others, I'm going to try to explain briefly the context of the resurrection of Jesus in the ancient world. And here I want to say a couple things that I think are pretty important. First of all, we must recognize that the idea of Jesus resurrecting from the dead was as remarkable to a first century audience as it is to us today. I think we wrongly assume sometimes that ancient folks were naive, gullible, unsophisticated, unintelligent, so that they would believe whatever they heard. That's not true at all, especially when it comes to death and resurrection. Even more so resurrection, actually. These folks were very familiar with death. They knew what it meant. They knew dead things did not come back to life. They had shorter lifespans than we have. The mortality rate was a lot worse than today. They witnessed mass killings, public executions, martyrdoms. Even sacrifice was part of their daily life. They knew what death meant in this world, this rough world, and they knew it was final. So that is the context in which we should ask any questions about ancient perspectives on death and the afterlife, and also the context in which we should understand the shocking and unexpected and unique nature of the resurrection of Jesus. Okay, so let me talk about the ancient world very quickly. Across the ancient world, there were different and complex beliefs about death and the afterlife. In this video, I'm going to cover one simple one. So one of the beliefs from the Greco-Roman part of the world was that there really was no meaningful life after death at all. And this comes from grave inscriptions or funerary inscriptions. So many of these Greek and Latin inscriptions have a version of this statement: I was not, I am not, I do not care. In fact, this saying was so popular that it was abbreviated in Latin as n.f.n.s.n.c. So the point in bringing up this saying is that not all people in the ancient world had a hope for any sort of meaningful life after death, and certainly not hope for resurrection. So why is it important to recognize the meaning of this saying? Well, this belief forms part of the background for the resurrection of Jesus, a background where the resurrection of Jesus was both unparalleled and shocking.